Have you ever walked into a room and felt judged before you even said a word? Not for your actions, not for your thoughts, but for something you had no control over, the color of your skin. This is the story of a man who faced exactly that, and what happened next will leave you speechless. His name is Elijah, a quiet, kind-hearted man with a passion for music and a smile that could warm a room. He had just moved to a new city, full of hope, chasing his dream of becoming a music teacher. On his first day at the school, he wore his best suit, carried his resume in a leather folder, and walked confidently into the building. But as soon as he stepped in, he noticed it. The stares, the hesitation. The receptionist asked him to wait, again and again. Other candidates walked in and were welcomed immediately. Elijah waited over an hour. Finally, the principal arrived. He looked Elijah up and down, eyes lingering not on his resume, but on his skin. There was no handshake, no smile, just a forced nod and a cold, "Let's keep this short." The interview lasted barely 10 minutes. The questions were generic, uninterested. No one asked about his years of experience, his music degrees, or his volunteer work teaching underprivileged children. The principal simply said, "We'll let you know." Elijah walked out, heart heavy, knowing exactly what had happened. He wasn't judged by his talent. He wasn't seen for who he truly was. He was judged by something as surface level as skin color. But Elijah didn't give up. Instead, he did something remarkable. He started teaching kids in his neighborhood, in parks, in basements, even in garages. Word began to spread. More and more families brought their children to learn from him. He never charged a single cent. He taught for the love of it, for the belief that music could bring hope where words sometimes failed. Soon, local media picked up his story. The street musician who's changing lives. Donations poured in. With the help of the community, Elijah opened a small music center. It became a safe haven for kids of all backgrounds to learn, express, and grow. Years later, that same school that once turned him away invited him to speak at their annual event. Not as a guest, not as a visitor, but as the keynote speaker. Elijah stood on that stage, not bitter, not angry, but proud. Proud that he didn't let prejudice define him. Proud that he turned rejection into a revolution of kindness. The room gave him a standing ovation. Even the principal, now older and clearly regretful, stood and clapped, tears in his eyes. Elijah taught the world something powerful. What we see on the outside is just a tiny part of who someone really is. True character lives in the soul, in kindness, passion, and resilience. And when we choose to judge less and love more, the world becomes a better place for everyone. If this story moved you, take a moment, reflect, share it. Because someone out there might need this message today. And hey, if you believe the world needs more stories like this, more voices that uplift instead of divide, consider subscribing. Not because it helps the channel, though it does, but because together we can spread light in a world that desperately needs it. Thanks for watching. Stay kind, stay human.